going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.
Eminent Waste of Time, episode 55. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad. And we have, look, it's Steve.
We are joined once again by the illustrious Steve Mueller.
Illustrious?
Illustrious. Infamous.
I don't need an introduction.
You're a regular now?
Yep.
You're like Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Mel. Sideshow Mel.
So we brought Steve in today because we were a bunch of bums and did not go to Midwest Side-by-Side yesterday.
Life is just too busy right now. We couldn't make it.
And now Cody has kind of a...
He's fallen behind.
I mean,
two down.
If this was a points race, he'd be in real trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think he can catch you by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. When is the end of the season?
Gosh. We'd kind of sent a tentative date to the end of this year's racing season, but we didn't say which series. So is that GNCC? Is that IXCR?
How about we say Thanksgiving? Because everyone should be thankful that this is over.
I'm good with that.
Well, I looked at it as there's, 52 weeks in a year?
Yeah.
And you're on episode 55?
Yeah.
True.
So season's over.
We're actually
Steve,
3 over. This is extra stuff.
Steve's looking to just call the season early so he can win.
This is the after party then.
Yeah.
We're already... Man, that's crazy to think about. We've already done a year's worth if we're one a week.
I know. Well,
sorry, world.
We'll call it at. We'll just call it at Thanksgiving. That'll be start of the new season.
Sounds good.
So
I don't know if we got any feedback about. We kind of threw it out there. Should we change the intro
music?
Or?
Steve, we have you on the line right now. What is your thought on the intro music? Change it or keep it?
So it just is what it is now, or should we upgrade?
I think you should keep it. It's just I don't know. I think it's kind of like your guys' signature now.
Signature. The
questionable remixed hip hop.
It was just like this random thing we pulled to begin with. Like, yeah, this will work, and then now it's our signature.
We just didn't want to get blasted by YouTube and have all our videos taken down. But I found out that since basically late 2015, they've changed that. You can use anything you want that's licensed
for X number of seconds, whatever it is.
No. You could use a whole song.
Oh, really?
You just can't make any money on it.
Oh, yeah, they'll demonetize you, but we don't have our set to monetize anyway.
Yeah, we're not making any money on this deal, so we literally could have used... We had a bunch of ideas that we had thought about. We could have done it anyways. We were just too stupid.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because, when I upload... I used to upload some of my footage off my GoPro from races, and since I listen to music and it's piped into the intercom... YouTube I'd get it uploaded, and then they would take it down because of the music.
They'd flag you?
Just earlier this year.
I don't know. Maybe they changed it back. I thought they had changed it to where you could use X number of seconds. It's like 15 seconds of a song. Or something.
Our Heartland Challenge video has the entire song, Welcome to the Show by Saliva.
Yeah.
That's true. It actually, if you go into our creator studio, it is flagged and it says there's a copyright claim on that song. But that's it. It just means that we can't make any money on it.
Yeah. We're not making any money.
No.
Notice, we don't have commercials on our stuff. It's because we care.
Yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's dumb enough to give us money to do this.
We're not making money from YouTube. Let's go there. How's that?
But anyways.
And this segment brought to you by Smithwell Drilling.
The real SBR racing team. I think Stewart Boys actually follows us. They're probably going to love that.
Stewart Boys Racing actually does follow us on Instagram and I believe on Facebook.
They might even watch this mess. So yeah, we've kind of had a plan for this show, but not really. Honestly, it's been kind of slow in the side-by-side world, and we've been kind of slacking on our end because we've just been trying to get other stuff done. So.
Well, you guys have seen the studio updates and stuff like that. Plus, this time of year, they've already released all the machines are going to release for the year.
Truth.
Like I said, we're working on the... Well, Honda's supposed to be coming out.
The Hodna, I believe.
Maybe we'll get to that a little later. But anyway, but the race seasons are wrapping up. So, like Midwest Side-by-Side, for example, they are done for the year. They finished up yesterday.
And that's kind of, I think, where we wanted to start off was talking about Midwest Side-by-Side in that race yesterday. Steve, you were on the podium. Second place, buddy.
Yes, I was. Yep. It wasn't hard with 3 of us.
Yeah, if you somehow missed the podium that race, I
have nothing for you then.
You wouldn't be on the show right now. We'll put it that way. So Devin Smith went out and turned 2 laps, but during the 2 laps, this will give you an idea of why we brought Steve on. I wanted to talk specifically about the track. It was challenging, to say the least. So
we went out with a bang.
Lots of bangs, broken parts, that kind of thing. So Devin said he was going to do 1 lap. He did 2. I think it was just kind of I'm in the buggy.
I'll just turn another.
Who wants to stop? It's a race, right?
Right.
3 punctured tires.
Oh, I didn't know.
1 broken rim and a bent radius rod in 2 laps.
Is he running stock radius rods on that still?
Not anymore.
No, I think he's got the aluminum CT Raceworks one.
He does. He's got the upgrade ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now he's going to be getting another one.
Yeah.
So it was pretty hard on the buggies. In fact, this is one of the areas that I think your Razor, specifically, Steve, had a big advantage over the X3s. You have the ground clearance, and if you were bottoming out and having a rough time in some spots, I can only imagine how bad an X3 would have been slapping.
Yeah, it was rough. I think a lot of us kind of knew going into it. The Moonlight Racing's known pretty well for like the Southern Rock Racing Series and like rock bouncing and that kind of stuff. So I mean, at least, I've been there trail riding, so I kind of had an idea going into what we were kind of up against. But no, the Razor did pretty good, and I used the dynamics a lot yesterday. Actually,
comfort.
I started out in sport mode, which is kind of semi-aggressive.
Your kidneys instantly told you to switch it to comfort.
After about the first 3 minutes, it went into comfort mode, and which is basically all that is 0 compression is what it is, and it just really helps to soak. Yeah, it really soaks up that rough stuff. So I could catch Devin and Nathan in the really bad rough stuff where they were. Probably just toying with me, but I could catch up to him pretty good. But once we kind of got back out into the woods a little bit, or the flatter, smoother areas, they would just pull away. So
you saw my Facebook comment. They weren't messing with you. They just wanted to get out of your way. They were scared to death.
No, they were probably 100% messing with me. Devin was nice enough to let me pass him and feel for the first time what it's like to lead a race for like 5 minutes.
That gust of fresh air. No smell of race fuel in front of you.
Did the Chariots of Fire music play in your head as you went by him?
No, but the one thing that did come into mind was how Barry Miller said, "What did I do wrong?" or "What? How did I accidentally get up here?"
How did I get here?
That's literally the first thing that came into my head. Like, how did I get? What did I do wrong? Is this an accident?
Did I cut the track? Did something happen?
The sad thing is, the first thing that goes through your head is replays of our podcast. That's you've been poisoned, sir.
Where it happened at was actually the original track on the parade lap. I don't know the exact name of it. It's all over YouTube, but I think they call it Stairway to the Moon. It's like this well-known, like, it's literally like stairs. It's all rocky. And when we did the parade lap, they had us coming down it, and you literally were boom on the skid plate, like all the way down.
Ouch! Ouch!
Yeah, and I was following. Cody was leading the parade lap, and then Cam Mapes was behind him, and then it was me, and we went down it, and it wasn't too long after that. Like, I looked up on my mirror, and I was like, everybody's gone. So I don't know if somebody on the parade lap rolled or got stuck on it. I don't know exactly what happened because I didn't see it, but I know that we went ahead and finished the parade lap. Josh and Cody were talking on the radio, and they had to basically go fish everybody else back out. And after we got back from the parade lap and everybody kind of got back to the start line, it was kind of a warm discussion of how brutal the track was. It wasn't nothing against the park or Josh or anybody or the series. It was just our cars aren't set up for this kind of terrain at all. The huge boulders and the rocks. I mean, heck, my suspension's lowered almost 3 inches from a factory car, so everybody was just really concerned about just going out there just tearing up parts. And
so this really was a lot more kind of just a rock bouncing setup or just a slow trail ride, kind of challenge yourself. This really wasn't a race course per se.
Yeah. I haven't looked at my telemetry off the GoPro yet. I probably never went over 30 miles an hour, except for at the start line. That was about the only open section, but it had like big mud puddle pits in it and ruts. So I think everybody had a really good enjoyment of watching us come off the checkpoint, because I put it to the floor and I probably ended up anywhere from about 10 to 12 feet from each side of the track as I hit the mud puddles and just kept slamming around. I
saw your footage, and Devin was right in front of you, and you could see him up there, and it's like he's going across the field, and all of a sudden, water explosion everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny because Nathan Wolf was behind me at one point, and after the race he came up and he was like, "I think I was more mad that you got me wet than I was when I was behind you," or something like that. I was like, "That's pretty funny." But yeah, I actually got some pretty good GoPro footage. I don't know if you guys want to splice any in or not, but
we'll probably put a fair amount in here.
I was pretty impressed with the GoPro footage, even with the mud, because usually it just heads right on the camera, and I don't usually run a co-driver over here, so
yeah, you need to get better at wiping that.
Was it you that was saying that you knew somebody that like 3D prints like some GoPro wiper thing now?
Yeah,
it was Brad Mapes got the hookup on that.
Yeah,
because Cam's got one in his car.
I have a 3D printer. I may just send Brad a message and ask for the STL file, and I'll just print one.
I got a visitor.
It's a dog.
Which one do we have?
This is not a kitty cat. This is the dog.
That's a real animal. It's about the size of a cat. Not the one that got
lost. Not the one that got lost at the last race, Indiana race.
No, that one's too old and tired. There's no running. There's no leaving there.
He found a fire and laid down for about 6 hours.
So it was definitely a different kind of race to finish the season out on. And again, this was over in Missouri I think we've said that before, but a little bit different terrain than we have normally in Illinois and Indiana and the areas that we normally race in. So again, nothing against the property owner or the series or anything like that. It's just,
it is what it is.
Midwest Side by Side is a young series, and they are kind of limited where they can race. And so you've got to take it. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So did you guys run a full hour or?
No, there actually was, don't hold it to me. I think there was only like 10 total, that showed up between all classes, for this one. I think a lot of it was how far, west it was all the way in Missouri.
That was a big drive.
A lot of the Indiana guys that usually come, a lot of them didn't want to make that drive, and I totally understand. But no, they asked us at the beginning if in the drivers' meeting if open or pro class would be opposed to doing 45 minutes, or they could just stop everybody else and let us keep going. And I think we all kind of, even before we had a chance, we all kind of unanimously said 45 minutes is fine. I personally was like, that's 15 minutes less wear and tear. I'll take it. So,
so you just ran a big combined 45-minute race and call it a day.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think you guys have talked about it before. Devin, he only had, and I misunderstood the points. I didn't realize that the first round, which got canceled due to bad weather, was going to be one of our drops. So that's actually a 0. So I had, in all my calculations and looking at it and trying to figure everything out, I did not realize that was the case. So I had everything wrong. So Devin only had to turn one lap to basically lock in first place for the season, which that's basically what he did. Nathan, he couldn't do anything because I think he's missed 1 or 2 additional races. He couldn't do anything to knock me out of second, and I was basically locked into second place for the season. So
yeah,
it was for us three. It was really, it was more of, do we want to tear up the buggy or not? And
so
I feel really bad for Devin because I thought he was going to do one lap and be done, and with all that damage, I feel bad for him.
Well, he runs tire spines, which is why he got around. But if he didn't, tire spines actually saved his season. Because I guarantee you he didn't puncture all 3 tires on the second lap. He had to have done one on the first.
Yeah, probably.
So in theory,
it saved him.
If he didn't have tire spines, he may not have even turned a lap, and you'd be in first place right now. So there's there's some free advertisement.
I did my power wash this morning in my initial inspection. I have no damage whatsoever except for I did cut my driver's side rear tire, and it's not even a cut. It looks like I got a nail in the tire. It's just a tiny itty bitty hole from like one of those thorn trees that went through your hand, or a nail or something. It's not even like a big cut or slit. I literally could put my pinky over it and stop it.
Honey locust? I think it's a honey locust.
Yeah, so that's all thus far, knock on wood, all I found. So
that's not a bad day for you then, because you ran the whole race. You didn't just pull. I mean, after Devin did his, you ran the rest of it.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I kept waiting. Devin, he did his thing. Like, there was a bypass that we kept taking. There was a waterfall. I'm not well known with it, but the park has this like waterfall, and you could have took that line, and I think they said it would save like a minute. I didn't realize it, and that's how Devin got away from me in front of me. I guess he took that. I think they have video, or they were going to post video of it, of him hitting that, and all the rest of us bypassed. That's since I lost him. I didn't know he had stopped or pulled off, and when I came around the checkpoint, he was standing there waving, and of course, by that time, Wolf had already got around me and got in front of me, and he was like, "Go, go, go!" So it was pretty funny, but it was. I kept waiting for Nathan to give up because, like, nothing could have changed really. In the points.
He had nothing to gain.
So I told Nathan after the race, I was like, dude, I was waiting for you to pull off. I was just going to pull off right behind you, and we just went the whole thing. It felt good because, I mean, it was quick. I mean, I don't know if it's just because the track was so technical and slow, but it went quick. Like, they threw the checkered out, and I pulled up and I had to, like, look out through my window net, and I'm like, I'm ready to keep going here. It went by so fast. So.
It probably was because it was low speed, because I think when you do a high-speed race and you've been through the finish line 6 or 7 times and you still haven't seen the white flag, it feels like an eternity if you've only turned 3 laps or so.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the checker's out.
Your mind's occupied because you're still memorizing the track and you're still doing things like that, Yeah,
in a fast-paced race, the last half of it definitely is slower than the first half, because the first half you're excited and, like you said, you're memorizing, you're watching for things. The last half of a fast race, you're just like, is it done yet? I feel like we've done this a million times.
Yeah. So Cam Mapes drove the pink buggy, I hear.
He drove the wheels off that thing.
all four
of them.
Yeah, I saw, I think when it went back on the trailer, I think we were all kind of standing there by the podium, too, looking at it. I think all 4 tires were flat.
Yes.
But he has tire balls in it, so it definitely looked flat, but it wasn't completely on the ground. So
yeah, I talked to Cody. He flattened all 4, and he ripped one of the lower A-arms, or bent it, or ripped it off.
Yeah.
So,
and I think the axle came out of the diff. Yeah.
Jeez,
he was having a hard time with that too.
Yeah, happens.
But it was good though, because like Friday night I camped, and Brad and Cameron and Don and all those guys from Cam Mapes crew, we were talking about what's going on with him driving that, and I kept trying to tell him, I was like, this ain't the 800. There is lifting here now. This isn't a no lift 800. So
yeah.
You will break axles and stuff if you stay in that throttle, and just that I was just trying to give him some tips and stuff with the added power of that 1000, and he was just kind of sitting there being a sponge, just soaking it up. I think that's a big thing that I like about Cam, is he don't try to tell people what he thinks is right and wrong. He just is like a sponge. He just soaks it all up and thinks about things. So, and I know Brad, he really likes that kind of stuff too, and learning.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
That was kind of cool.
So, yeah. There's murmurings that Cam's getting a new buggy for next race season. So
maybe.
I have more information on that, but I'm not going to let it out yet.
Oh, is it still secret squirrel stuff?
Not yet.
Steve, to steal your phrase, Steve.
Secret squirrels.
Secret squirrel. Yep.
Well, that's good for him.
Yep.
He can rip the wheels off of something else now.
Yes.
Plank made it over.
Yeah, Plank. He got second, is what he said.
But I think he was in the same situation as Devon. I think all he had to do was one lap.
Yeah,
to
turn a
lock in
lap
first.
Yeah,
I think so.
And
yeah,
as bad as that course was with your buggy, with the full dynamic suspension and everything else, imagine rolling around in an 800.
I don't know what damage Plank got. I know he had a flat tire, and I think he pulled off because of that. But I don't know if he got any other major damage or anything.
And he doesn't run spines or tire. He doesn't run anything. He just runs tires.
No.
So from what Cody said, he's pretty sure that not a person who ran yesterday didn't make it out without a flat.
Steve?
No, Steve said he punctured one.
I didn't know it till today.
That doesn't count as a flat then.
Sometimes with spines, some people's look flat. Mine never do. Like, I have no idea if there's air in there or not. It wasn't until I put the gauge on there that I was like, huh,
it's flat.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not counting that as a flat.
So that one's locked up, and you got second place, correct?
As far as I know, I don't know when they'll release the official.
Yeah,
but
that's
if all of
unofficial.
If all of our math and everything is correct, yeah, second.
Okay.
And that'll be fairly soon because they do their banquet early. They don't wait till January.
Yeah, I think about
November
a month.
10th, I think.
Yeah, a little less than a month, about 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this coming weekend is MWXC.
Yay!
Yep.
And
he said sarcastically.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm not looking forward to another race. It's just
you're not looking forward to another race weekend.
Yeah, my schedule is kind of crazy. I'm basically flying in from Orlando and won't be home till, well, the flight doesn't land until 11:55 p.m., so I won't be home by the time I get to go back through the airport, get to my car, and get home. It'll easily be 12:45.
Yeah.
And then up in a few hours and go do a whole race weekend. So that'll be neat.
Sounds
so
fun.
Chad has to set everything up?
Actually, yes, I'm going
Chad
out there
is.
Friday night.
You, sir, normally I give you a rash of crap. You get nothing from me today because you are a gentleman and a scholar. He is setting up all the junk for me, so all I have to do is show up and turn the mic on.
The good news is I just refreshed the forecast for Paragon, and they took out the rain for Saturday and added mostly sunny. So
good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be mostly sunny and 55 both days. It's going to be cold at night, so translate that to the morning. It's going to be 35 degrees in the morning, but
you know what? There's worse things.
No, I'll put my Carhartt on. I might even wear my bibs so that I can strip off later if I need to, and I'll be fine.
Yep. So points wise for MWXC. Let's see. Doug's got it. He can probably see it better. Steve, I think you're in the open class.
Yeah, in the open class, Steve Mueller, Steve the Missile Man Mueller, has 128 points. Colin Jean has 127, knocking on the door, and Hecker has 125.
Yep.
Then Barry Miller's back and forth with 120. So it's still any person's game, but basically if you all show up and run like you normally do, the order probably will not change.
The drops.
Yeah, that'll be the wild card there.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
We'll see who ends up with sugar in their tank before the race.
Oh no.
And then Mike Plank has the 800 class wrapped up there.
Yeah, he had it wrapped up, I think, round 3. So
yeah, he has 117 points, and the closest person to him in second only has 81.
Yeah.
So, like, he could take the race off, and I doubt he will, but he could.
And Bannon has the ace class.
Jason Bannon has the ace class all wrapped up, pretty much. If he runs this one, I mean, I guess if someone comes and runs it, they could tie him.
It's almost like he's the only one who's run there.
He is. but I saw that on the points list, and I was like, I am so talking about that one.
A first place is a first place regardless.
Yep. So he ran his RS1 in the ace class last time instead of running it in the heavy class, which he could have.
He legitimately didn't know that was an option for him. But the thing is if he ran it with the heavies, they wouldn't have counted for points.
Yeah.
So it really didn't help him to do it either way.
No,
I mean, it just kind of was what it was because
except now he's got a first place in class.
Yes, he does. And the ace class does not count for the overall either, but he wouldn't have run enough races. So regardless, it actually looks better for him because he can say he finished first.
Yes.
Don't ask any questions about how.
Yeah. Or how many races it was.
Just accept it. And then if we look at the overall, Steve, you're first there as well. You've got 2,325 points. And then Hecker's right behind you with 2,324. Colin Jeans back with, he's got 2,068, and Barry Miller's got 2,047, which it sounds like there's big point gaps there, but the reality is how many points you get per race. If you skipped, you'd be down like in 6th or 7th or something just for missing one race.
Yes. 300 points if you get first.
Yeah. So if everybody in front of Barry Miller skipped, he would actually end up in first. So it's actually closer than it seems. But again, if you guys show up and run kind of your normal order, it again drops. It just depends on how that all works out. Because this year you get 1 drop for overall. Last year there were 0.
Yeah.
No, actually overall you don't get any drops. Sorry, I might be wrong there. You might get 1 drop. However, if you make every race, you can keep them.
Oh, yes. You don't have to take your drop.
Yeah, there's no mandatory drop. You just can if you need to. Last year, there were no drops regardless.
So that should, assuming, did Hecker miss one?
No.
Okay.
We've both made all of them.
Okay. Yeah. So as long as you finish in front of Matt Hecker, you win the overall.
That's correct. Yep.
There you go. Then that's not a bad position to be sitting in.
I mean, to be able to go back to Polaris and say, look, I got 2nd place in Midwest side-by-side. I got 1st place overall and 1st place in class in MWXC. I mean, that's not something bad to bring back to your sponsor.
And you're on a moderately watched podcast occasionally.
It's true. Very true.
I'm going to move our viewership up from, we started off with 10s to dozens. I'm going to move it up to 20s now. 20s.
I will say, I saw on Plank's Buggy yesterday that he's got an Eminent Performance sticker on there now.
Yeah.
So I know you guys got to get. I know you got to get one to Devin because he was a little upset he didn't have one.
Oh, we'll get him some. Spangler put one on his. He sent me a picture of our sticker on his buggy. Oh. And then the funny thing is, he said not more than 10 minutes after he put it on, all of a sudden...
The radiator.
Yeah, all the fluid starts rushing out of his radiator.
Yeah, he sent me the same one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was laughing.
That strikes again.
Yes. I just need to run in the same class, make sure I put stickers on everybody's buggy but mine.
I just picture it like a Naked Gun movie. You know, he goes up and puts the sticker on and steps back, and like all of a sudden the doors fall off and the wheels go flat like instantly.
He said it wasn't just a few minutes later and it starts dumping radiator fluid.
Perfect. We're really not helping our case for the 2019 campaign right now.
No, not so much, but we're having fun. So yeah. I assume you're excited about the last race for that too?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, I'm nervous. So I gotta like take my mirror off, I think, and just do what I gotta do. So
yeah. Well, you'll be all right. Just run your race. You'll be good.
So who is racing with you? Is it your normal? Well, you really haven't had a normal co-driver this season.
You've had it split.
Yeah.
It should be Brian. However, if anything changes, it'll be Chad.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I'll be there, so.
I haven't got to ride with you once this year.
I need to message him and make sure he's still good for next weekend. Yeah.
We're going to have to fix that in 2019.
Yeah, Doug wants to ride with you.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get to this year at all.
Well, had you showed the Moonlight yesterday,
I know.
You went out rock bouncing with me. And
so there was a plan that Chad and I were unaware of until we dropped the bomb that neither of us was going to make it, that there was going to be a whole bunch of switcheroos. And I don't want to get this wrong, so Steve, you can explain it.
Yeah, Devin and I were talking about doing it, swapping cars. It didn't end up happening, but which is funny because after the race yesterday, I went up to him and was like, see? If we swap cars right now, I could be buying you a new tire. Well, apparently it would have been 3 and a wheel and a radius rod. But yeah, we were talking about it. We were gonna try to pull the old quick switcheroo, and it just didn't happen.
And then I'd be riding,
which is perfectly fine. So
then I would have been riding with Devin. You would have been riding with Steve, but they would have been in different buggies,
cars.
and actually that would have been an absolute riot. But
yeah.
Because I told
no
Devin,
fun.
I was like, you mean like you could message Doug right now, and I guarantee you he would not tell you no. So, but then at the last minute, we swap cars and see how it all the shenanigans unfolded. But yeah, we didn't do it. It's all right though.
Oh, that would have been awesome. And actually, we need to throw a big shout out to Devin and Courtney, because it was Devin's idea for the T-shirts, and then, Courtney actually made them. But we're not wearing them right now because
They're
I'm
still
a bum.
at Doug's house.
They're still at my house. We just got them last night. Actually, my family members were all fighting over them. They were like pillaging. I was like, stop! We have to have some for us.
Yeah, I haven't even seen them yet.
But
So
she
I
made
have
us
to ask,
some really
did
awesome
you
Eminent
see the
Performance
podium
shirts.
picture yesterday?
Of him wearing it, yes.
Yes, and you and your Barry Miller
Did you
shirt.
have any idea?
I had no idea.
No.
I saw the pictures after the box had showed up at my house. Like literally, the box showed up, and then an hour later, I saw the pictures on Facebook. So it was really, really close.
Now, see, I legitimately thought that Devin was going to, because I thought about this, and I was trying to think, what is he sending me? Because we knew he was sending something. I thought they were going to make T-shirts. I had that part guessed right. I thought it was going to be that close-up picture of Devin making that face, leaning up against the Precision Powder
The
Coat
Devin
trailer.
Smith race face.
Yeah.
So now you have to insert the podium picture of him and Courtney yesterday, and the fishy face, and go ahead and throw the RS1 picture in there too.
Where it looks like he's making motor noises.
It's like monkeys trying to use tools for the first time. It's a funny picture. I love it.
Oh, it's a good one.
Well, I got some editing to do tonight.
Yes, you do.
Sorry, Doug.
That's okay.
So, yep. Let's see. Yep. MWXC this weekend. I'm ready. It's the last side-by-side race.
I'm not ready at all, but it's going to happen. So it's upon us regardless.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'll be a real system shock too, because I'm going to be in Orlando.
Yeah,
And then
you're coming back to this.
Like literally when the plane lands, it'll be 35 degrees.
Nice.
That'll be neat.
I thought I saw another hurricane brewing. You might want to check the weather.
He's going anyway.
Yeah. I've got life insurance. I'm worth more dead than alive. You can do this podcast by yourself.
Sweet. Steve, you want to make more guest appearances?
I got the sponsors down.
There you go.
You have to move here. That's the deal, because I had to move here to start this whole mess. So
I do need to get out of Illinois, tax to death state. Ugh.
oh yeah. I bet you your taxes in Morgan County would be a quarter of what they are there.
Yeah.
It's insanely cheap here. That's why we don't have roads.
That's why I drive my Razor down to the gas station.
I'm probably getting taxed for doing the podcast right now.
Land of Lincoln, indeed.
Yes.
Actually, have you ever
I'll get
noticed
a bill
that
in the mail
all the
here real
states
quick.
want to have some sort of claim? Like,
To Lincoln?
yeah, Kentucky's like, oh, well, he was born here. In Indiana, oh, he grew up here.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the state's any better.
Obama once used a toilet here.
That's a really terrifying. I want that T-shirt now.
Okay, let's move on. GNCC's coming up.
So you've spent a bunch of money and you're ready to go. I think we touched on some of that last week, but the Razor is going to be ready for you, because we just talked about the fact that Cam's done some redecorating.
Yeah, Cam kind of reorganized how the tires work and where the A-arms are or are not attached. I don't know.
Axles are supposed to go from the transfer case to the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Not like rubbing the dirt.
Oh, so in theory, you're going to pick that up Friday, right?
In theory, yes.
So it's going to get put back together this week.
Yes.
And then you're going to lay eyes on, well, you've got...
Then he's going to break it again.
No.
That leaves you 1 week until GNCC to play with it, because you wanted to do some laps. And
I'm going to do some laps here at my place. I'm going to spend
To
some
break
time
it.
in the seat. No, I'm not going to break it. I'm gonna put in some seat
do
time.
we need to remind people what you did with your Razor?
Shush.
Where's that pile of parts that I gave you?
I've got
It's
it.
still in the back of Doug's
No.
trunk. They make it out of the trunk.
They've made it out of the trunk, and they will eventually make it into the studio.
Yeah. So
Chad's wall of shame. Speaking of the studio, before we get back to the GNCC thing, I don't want to forget about this.
Yeah.
Gregory Sharp had a great idea.
okay.
We need to have a wall in the studio that when people come in, they can sign.
Oh, sign like a
yeah.
section of the wall.
People we like will get a Sharpie. People we don't will get a dry
Dry
erase
erase
marker.
marker.
Exactly. Problem solved. So it'll look like we're being nice to them as soon as we leave. We're like,
And you're done.
but I did like that
idea.
idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We'll do that. No, back to GNCC. Yep. Race license. My official one showed up. It's in my wallet, which is in the other room. So I got that.
So what's your plan going into this race? I mean, do you have kind of this is the kind of race I want to run?
We are running sportsman class. I'll start off with that. So the classes that they have XC1 and XC2, which I might be able to be eligible for, but it takes a GNCC official review. I was not interested.
If they look at our race season last year, answer is no. Move along.
They have XC3, which I could have done, but I'm not in it for points, so there's no reason to line up with those guys. I believe they have one more class in there, but I'm not sure. GNCC stuff is kind of confusing. And then they have the sportsman class, and that's where we're running. Really, we're just getting out there to run it. I plan on actually running, I'm going to say reasonably hard. I mean, I'm not going to ram people, maybe, but Steve's going to be white knuckling it.
Okay, Steve, if I don't think this is going to happen in time, but in theory, if we could have it looks like a push to talk button on the T-bar there, but it's actually a 40% horsepower reduction button.
It's like a rev limiter.
Yes. If you get nervous, you hit the button.
Oh, you'll get nervous. Plank rode with me, and Plank was nervous.
I'll just cover my eyes.
We still never asked him about that. I'm gonna shoot him a message, and I'll get a screenshot of his reply on it.
Chad Cartwheel King.
I had it on in half a lap. I had it on 2 wheels 8 times or so, maybe 10 times. I don't know.
You know you're faster on all 4, right?
Yeah, but in the corners. See, there's less rolling resistance if 2 tires aren't on the ground.
No, that's not how that works. That's not even one little tiny bit.
It was just, I don't know if I'll adjust the suspension on the pink buggy at all. I might set it down more. I run them low. I just always set buggies down low. I put a heavy skid plate on there for a reason. Let them beat off the ground. Don't care. So we'll see. But yeah, when I get the pink buggy back here, I'm going to put eyes on everything, kind of just double check everything myself. Not that I don't trust Cody's guys, but just, I'm going to be the one behind the wheel.
It's for your own satisfaction.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm just curious, are you wanting to try and get out ahead early up at the top and kind of fend people off, or do you want to hang back a little bit, try push people into making mistakes?
Well, sportsman class launches last, so I will be behind other people automatically.
Yeah.
I do want to get in front of the sportsman class.
Okay.
This time of year, typically, especially GNCC, the Ironman track, there's a big creek crossing, and there's a long stretch that runs along the creek normally, assuming they route us about the same way they normally do. And it drags mud down that section. And if you get stuck behind someone there and they're flinging mud, you're just covered. So you're better off to be in front.
So you're going for whole shot?
I am.
Gotcha.
And I like my chances normally, except for the only other time I drove it. Plank and I were messing with the intercom until I heard the horn. I was like, oh, crap. And then I reached up and hit the key real quick. And I still got off decent.
So the real important question here, are you going to be racing with music or not?
Yeah, we'll probably throw music in there.
Okay, Steve. Roll reversal.
Key challenge.
Before the first corner, man.
Yep, you got to have it before the first corner, otherwise it doesn't count.
Might as well just pull off to the side.
Consider it done.
Okay.
Well,
if not, you'll hear me. Music. Music. Music.
So sportsman.
I'll just have it on before they blow the horn. You won't even hear it.
Everyone else is left. I think I should probably go now.
So sportsman, there's no turbos in that class, so you're likely just going to be up against Razors and possibly some YXZs.
Yeah, there's several YXZs and a couple other Razors. From what I've seen, now I expect this GNCC to be a pretty highly attended, participated in event because it's the final one. Normally, like the Powerline one from this last weekend, I think there was 6 in the sportsman class. So there's not many. Now this sportsman class, or the last GNCC at Powerline, was it was muddy and it was cold, so that probably kept a few people away, a lot like Midwest side-by-side.
Sure.
But there's not that many. I expect a lot of people probably think like I will, where they're not going to race XC3 if they're just doing it to run the last one. They'll probably drop back and run sportsman class. So I would say there'll be a fair amount.
It's going to be interesting. I'm really, like I said, I'm torn because I'm excited to go down south with the Southern Mud Riders, but I know I'm going to be, if I can wipe enough mud off of myself and find my cell phone, I will be checking, live scoring if I possibly can. But I don't know where I'll be on Saturday. I could be literally in the middle of a bottomless mud hole.
Yeah. So for
you
those
can watch
you
us on Racer TV.
Yeah, Racer TV's live.
Ooh.
So
I saw some highlights from yesterday. I thought it was pretty cool. They have drones that were, I don't know if you guys have watched it or not. They had drones like over the woods, so you could see everybody going through the woods. I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm going to be bitterly disappointed if I get a second to tune into Racer TV and I see you standing on the side of the track with your race suit half off tied around your waist, watching other people run on lap 1.
I don't think I will be.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
You keep your hands off that wheel.
Button now. RPM limit.
From the start, like as soon as you hit the key, brr.
Oh.
We'll call it the 800 button, as in 800 cc's.
Yeah. So
valet mode.
There you go. I like that.
It'll be fun. I just hope we have decent weather because we're kind of getting down to that time of year where we can get a lot of rain, we can get cold. We've seen snow at that point in the year.
Well,
did you guys get snow last week?
No, we got a little spitting sleet Friday night, but that was it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of GNCC, Kyle Chaney,
he won
last weekend. He was on a tear last week. I mean, what, just over a minute ahead?
Yeah, he was a minute ahead of even second place.
Yeah, so he was out there scooting.
Yeah.
In fine form as normal.
Yep. It's neat. If you guys ever get to watch someone like that run, it is just on another level. It
really is, and it's good to see him finish up a season that way because honestly, it was not kind to him to start.
So I'm trying to remember back. I know at the beginning of the season, like the third race in for side-by-sides, he had to win every one to win the rest of the way out. And I think he has up until this point.
Yeah.
He has to win GNCC, and he takes first. So, yeah.
Well,
he'll be pushing on you, don't worry.
Well, but that's, a really talented driver. I mean, when the pressure's on, that's how they respond. They win.
I'm not looking to hold anybody up. I mean,
no.
If Chaney comes up behind me, I will gladly pull to the side and let him go.
Well, especially since he, A, knows who we are, B, occasionally listens to this message and knows the giant pink buggy you're going to be driving.
Yeah.
Like, there's no hiding.
No.
Don't be that guy.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not in it for points. I want to run hard, but I'm not going to slow up someone who's actually got something to gain from this. That's just mean to do, and I'm not going to do that.
Well, it sounds kind of crazy, but we're already to the point where we need to get into the tip of the week.
So, tip of the week. Steve, you don't know. You know that we do a new segment called Tip of the Week, but you don't know what the segment is. So, this week, we're doing tires. And this is a general thing. We aren't getting into specifics.
That's a very apropos subject.
Yes, it is. I picked that before I knew about all the punctures. But anyway, tires. So we're talking about like age of your tires, the tread types. A lot of people, this is the great one. What PSI should I run in my tires? And all that fun stuff. So.
You know what my answer to that one is?
Yes.
The one you like. You don't know until you get out there and drive it yourself. I could tell you 12 PSI, and you may hate that.
Well, yes and no.
There are some guidelines.
There are...
But like the pirate code, it's more guidelines than actual rules.
Yeah. So, tires, there are some that are just built better for desert and rock crawling. There are some that are built, obviously, for sand, straight away. They don't really do much else well. And there are some XC style, some, trail... And there are some that just ultimate traction, but they wear for crap. I mean, so there are different types of tread types. That's where we went first.
So you need to pick it, obviously, for your application. If you're going to be running, if you're never going to see the mud, then you don't necessarily need a very wide open tread pattern that will allow it to clear itself.
Maybe don't pick the Mud Light tire.
Maybe not.
So,
and if you're going to be running in a bunch of rocks, maybe you don't pick a sand tire. Typically, sand tires are paddles, so you wouldn't be doing that anyways, but they do make some sand-ish tires. But typically those are a lightweight carcass. They have fewer plies. They are designed to run extremely low PSIs, read like 3 to 5, sometimes even less. And they don't do well when you put the sidewall on a rock. They just disappear.
Yeah.
They become rubber shards. So you definitely need to pick the right application for you, but you also need to be aware heavier is not necessarily better. I mean, you may avoid punctures, but you may be giving up traction you need. We made that mistake last year. We bought the Baja Cross tires.
Yes.
They're ITPs, correct?
Yes.
They're a great tire if you were actually running the type of race you were running, Steve, out there in the rocks and that kind of stuff. They're an outstanding tire for that. In the normal XC racing we were doing, we found they were kind of lousy in the mud, and they were very, very heavy. So you, especially on a vehicle that's, if you're running 1,000 turbo, you don't notice so much. You're running at 800, when you've got that much rotating mass, you definitely are going to feel that versus a lighter tire.
Yeah, and we'd talked about it. We kind of, I did. I'll take the full thing. I kind of hedge my bets. Well, majority of the race season's in the summer. I think we'll be running dry more. In the dry weather, they did great, but we just had a lot of wet, and it just did not work out well for them.
It was what it was. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, so...
And... You've got to find what you like. I know, Steve, you run Dirt Commanders, and a lot of guys are running those. The kind of the knock about the Dirt Commander, at least with Razor specifically, is the way the Razor all-wheel drive works. When you get out of the throttle, the Dirt Commanders want to wag the rear end a little bit.
Yeah.
And so some people say, well, then you can move to the Grim Reapers because they will not do that, but they have their own set of pitfalls. So... Tires are expensive enough. Yeah, you can't just really go out and try, but, you know, like buy a set one week and decide you don't like them and then go buy another set. But it may be worth seeking out some people you know that are running
your type of terrain
and then try them in a couple different buggies. If you got an opportunity to drive them in an X3 and a YXZ and a Razor or something like that, see how they behave in different machines, and maybe that helps you make a decision there. But I would never buy a tire just solely because somebody said X, Y, or Z are the best. Now, if you go to a race series and everybody there is running Dirt Commanders, that's probably a clue that that's the tire you want to run for the series you're in.
Yeah. I'll also add age of tires. I find that a lot of people ignore that completely. But as a tire gets really more than a couple years old, they really harden up quite a bit, and you lose a lot of your traction. You lose a lot of the comfort in the ride that you had because they get stiffer. I know the tread may not be gone, but you may want to look at replacing them.
Yeah. Especially if they're actually visibly dry rotting.
Yes.
It's time to go.
Yep.
One thing that I always tell people, too, to keep in mind is know the weight of the factory wheel and tire. And try to stay as close to that as possible, because the machine and the drivetrain and all that stuff is designed around that weight. So, you know, sometimes you see on Facebook and social media and stuff like that, like, oh, I'm running these 32-inch Roctanes on my Razor 800, and I keep snapping axles, and I don't know why.
That's
you know,
weird.
So, yeah. So I always try to tell people, like, keep in mind what the manufacturer, you know, made that machine and that drive line and stuff and tested everything with. And I've always kind of stuck with that try to keep that weight of that wheel and tire in mind.
That's actually really, really, really good advice, because everybody out there in internet land is an engineer.
Yeah.
They all think that they know better, but the reality is there are things you can do that will make a machine better. Usually it's by beefing up a part or something along those lines. But don't discount the fact that these factories have put thousands and thousands of hours into R&D. It's not like they just came up with a piece of paper, drew a UTV, and said, and this is the tire that will be on it with no testing.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of time and effort in there, and they've got thousands, if not, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of testing done. So like you said, that's a great baseline to work with.
And that's another reason why I did gear reduction in mine, too, because I knew that with the added weight of the wheel, the tire, and the tire spine, it was going to add a lot of additional stress. So gear reduction or portals that are out there and stuff like that, that'll also help if you want to definitely go bigger.
Yeah. So we'll touch real quick on the PSI thing, and there is no right PSI. A lot of that really varies depending on, like Doug was talking about, the carcass of the tires, how many plies it is. If you're running an 8-ply tire, you don't need to run 20 PSI in it if you're on the trail. But maybe, you know, if you're running a 4-ply or a 6-ply, you might want to be in like the 12 PSI range for a trail, but if you go out on the sand, you'll want to drop that to 5 or whatever. It all varies so much, plus the weight of the machine.
The right answer, though, is never going to be what is stamped on the sidewall.
No.
There's never a circumstance where you want to run that at max PSI, ever, period.
No. To give you guys kind of, I guess, a baseline to go off of, though, because I've seen machines come straight from the factory with 30 PSI straight in the tires, and it's like, that's bad. That's not right. And they just do it to seat them. In my Razor, I run right at about 14 to 15 in the stock Bighorns for a lot of the riding I do. And it does pretty good. I'm getting ready to switch over wheels and tires to something different, so it is, you know, that'll change.
Steve, what are you running yours?
It depends. If it's, well, and it also really depends because of the spines too, but if it's muddy, I'll take it down to probably like 8. If it's going to be a fast or a drier track, I'll probably take it up to about 12 or 13.
So that gives you guys some kind of baseline from, you know, a racing perspective of what you can expect. And if we're pushing the tires that hard in a race and that's the PSI range we're running in, you're definitely going to be safe. Now, granted, we're also talking bead locks, but you can still safely run in that 10 to 12 PSI range without bead locks unless you're really abusing the machine.
Yeah.
And in that case, you probably should just buy bead locks. But just running really, really hard tires is not a... It's not a cheap way to fix the problem.
No. The reason I run a little more PSI in mine, the Bighorns, I find they like to roll over a little bit more.
They do have a pretty squishy sidewall.
So I just run a couple extra.
Generally, the taller the tire, the more likely that is too.
Yeah, and they're, you know, factory 29s. But
Yep.
The Bighorns just seem to be a little soft on the sidewall. So I run a couple extra PSI to help with the rollover on the tire so it doesn't feel like it wants to go over as much. So it's all general things. You guys just need to feel it out yourself. I mean, I don't mind helping people and answering their questions, but when someone brings up a general question of, what PSI should I run in my tires? What kind of trails? How much does a machine weigh? You know, what kind of tires? There's just so many things.
Yeah, my general advice, honestly, is as low as you can stand while still having stability in the corners and you're not peeling them off the rims.
Yeah.
That's my general advice, but it just varies, and it's something you only learn by doing. So don't be afraid. There's no, like I said, the only wrong answer is running 0 PSI or running the full rated sidewall. But anywhere in between there, you just need to spend some time and figure out what you like and what suits your riding style, and you only get to know that by experimentation. And that's, you know, if you want to be the guy that can answer that question for somebody else, it means you got to put in a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
Crack open that owner's manual.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Razors come with those?
We are to that magical hour of needing trivia.
That time of the hour?
Yes.
Yay.
So Steve is here, so Steve gets to answer the questions as well.
And you go first, because I have home court advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
No Googling.
Yeah, we need to see hands. Ricky Bobby. Don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do with my...
All right. Okay, we ready?
Do it.
Okay, here we go. Question number 1. A buttload is an actual unit of measurement, just so you know. What does it measure? Steve?
I'm going to go with a measurement of a gas.
Okay.
I'm going to go with pork products, like pork butts.
No, it's actually wine. They use buttload to measure wine, and it is 126 gallons.
That is a buttload of wine.
Yes, it is.
Really?
That's an interesting one.
Okay. Yep. I just figured it was, you know, pork butts or something like that.
Nope. Okay, question number 2. Why are manhole covers round? There's one specific reason why they're round.
Weight distribution?
No? Okay.
I'm guessing because they fit in any direction. If they were square or triangle and they weren't exactly true, you'd have to take it out and reorient it.
Nah, I'm going to say that's a no. Even though you were reasonably close, it is the only shape that cannot fall into itself.
Okay, yeah.
So, like,
I was thinking weight distribution because, like, cars and stuff, like driving over them. So, I don't know.
No, it's the only shape that it can't fall in its own hole.
That makes sense.
So.
Yep.
All right.
Look at you, Mr. Engineer.
Look at me. I'm an interwebs engineer. The Googles told me everything.
The Googles, yes.
Question number 3. The first feet on the moon were from what country?
Japan.
Japan.
The first feet?
The first feet on the moon.
What do you mean the first feet on the moon?
It is phrased this way for a reason. So, Steve, if you would like to stay with that.
No, I'm staying with it.
Okay, Japan. The first feet on the moon.
I'll go United States of America.
No. It is Canada. Because the lunar lander's feet were made in Canada.
Oh, this is like the Fruit Loops thing again.
That's not actual trivia. That's garbage. Next question.
Question number 4. Pound cake got its name from the pound of what ingredient that it contains?
Sugar.
Butter.
It is butter.
Oh.
Very good, sir. All right. Question number 5. This is your Simpsons one, Steve. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. In The Simpsons, what platoon was Abe Simpson in charge of during World War II? The name of it. They had like a nickname.
Oh. I'm going to take a wild guess and say the Rough Riders.
I don't know, so I'll say the Fighting Mongooses.
The Flying Hellfish.
Oh, I actually remember that. Now that you say that, it sounds familiar.
Yes, the Flying Hellfish.
Oh, hold on. Bonus question for you two. Well, Chad, you can't answer. Doug, what is Alf's official name?
Official name?
Yeah, Alf wasn't his real name.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know. I got nothing.
Oh, I forgot it.
Well, that just happened.
That's a do-out. I can't remember. Chad, go back to your message and look.
We got too many messages between
I thought you were going to say, what ALF stood for, because it was an acronym.
His last name was, it wasn't Shoemaker. It was very similar.
No, it sure wasn't.
No, it was very similar.
Okay, ask the next question.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll go on. Okay, the next two are from Fuzzy. He wrote in. So, did you find it already or not yet?
His real name is Gordon Shumway.
Yes.
That's it. Shumway. I was close.
Shoemaker.
Yeah.
Shumway and Shoemaker. So close.
I had it and I went blank. I don't know. Sorry.
There you go.
It's all right. All right, the next two are from Fuzzy. So question number 6 from Fuzzy. This month, in the sky, what 3 planets are visible by the naked eye?
Can I phone a friend?
No.
Mars, Pluto. I don't know. I have no idea.
Pluto's not even a planet anymore.
Planetoid.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Planet Junior.
Okay.
I have no idea. I'm not an astronomy guy.
This time of the year.
This month.
This month. I'm going to say Venus, Mars, and Jupiter.
So close. Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter.
Venus isn't visible?
I get like a quarter of an internet point.
I thought Venus was visible year-round. I guess not. Okay.
Not according to Mr.
I was thinking
Fuzzy.
Saturn, too, so I was trying to decide which. I had 4 in mind. I had to pick 3. I was close.
Okay.
2/3 of an imaginary.
Question number 7, second one from Fuzzy. While Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong were on the surface of the moon, who was in the command module?
Again, I'm not an astronomy guy. Neil Armstrong.
No, he was on the moon. I just said his name.
Oh,
No, he's that good.
Buzz Aldrin.
No, he was on the moon.
He was the only other one I listed who was on the moon.
No.
There are only 2 people on the entire moon, and I gave you both of their names, and then you guessed that they weren't on the moon and they were back in the lunar lander.
I have no idea.
Herbie Hancock.
You don't have a guess, Doug?
I just did.
Okay.
I know it wasn't him, though.
Michael Collins. So
Poor Michael Collins.
Yeah.
History doesn't remember his name.
I
Fuzzy does, but that's it.
all right. Question number 8.
Bomb that one.
Which 2 elements are the most common in the universe?
I'm gonna go with hydrogen and I don't know. Oxygen.
Okay.
It's definitely hydrogen. Second, probably nitrogen.
Hydrogen and helium.
Okay. That makes sense.
So if you just go wherever that is, which obviously is not here on Earth, and breathe it a whole bunch, you can talk like a chipmunk.
Well, no, because helium is one of the... It's basically all the stars, the hydrogen fusion.
Yeah.
So that makes complete sense.
Okay. Who changed her name to Rebecca Rolfe after marrying John Rolfe? What was her name before? Famous person. I'll give you that.
I don't know who either of these people are.
I don't either.
Who's John Rolfe? Like, what is...
Pocahontas is who it was.
I was gonna say Madonna.
No, Pocahontas, the Indian lady.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I had no idea who these people were.
Oh, well, okay. Last one. This one doesn't take a lot of brain cells, but I need the exact title of what it is, okay? What was the sequel to Naked Gun? So the second one, it had a rather long title. It's not that long, but what is the actual name of it?
Wasn't it like The Naked Gun and a Half?
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
I thought it was Naked Gun 2.5, but there's a thing after it.
A thing.
Yeah, like a subtitle or a secondary. I don't know. I mean, I legit don't. I know it's something and a half, like 2.5.
The Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear.
There you go. Had the 2.5 part right.
Yep.
And then the third one was 33 and a third.
Yes, 33 and a third.
But I don't know what the...
I don't know what the ending on that one was either.
No. Chad.
Yes?
Poison Ivy.
Yeah, this is
Go.
our stupid stuff with Chad. Steve's laughing because Steve knows because I messaged him last night. So, yeah, there's a couple dead trees, the backside of my property, and my brother was going to cut them down. But he did cut them down. So I was helping him with him for just a few minutes when I had a free spare 30 seconds in my life. And
when he's not on the couch with the kitten.
yeah, you know me. All the time on the couch.
Making clothes for the kitten. I picture you sitting there knitting.
So we cut this tree down. This tree had poison ivy on it. So I'll just cut straight to the point. Poison ivy on your man junk ain't so fun.
Did you come inside and use the bathroom?
Yes, I did. Apparently washing of the hands was not quite enough.
Didn't you have another problem with this with chili peppers?
Yes, that happened too a long time ago. We told that story once.
How do you have kids?
I'm resilient. I don't know what my wife is yelling. I have here.
She's screaming something back there.
Yeah. Oh.
Alcohol?
Yeah, what made it even worse, not only is the poison ivy bad, but when you put rubbing alcohol on it, that's
Why would you have done that?
To dry it out. That's what I normally do with poison ivy, but don't do it on the special bits. That burns like no
This
other.
segment brought to you by
Ben Gay.
So, yeah. My brother's eye was completely swollen up because he had a wood chip kick up and hit him in the
poison
eye.
ivy.
With poison ivy in it, and his eye was swollen shut. Saturday morning.
And that's what I told Chad. I've had it in the same location and in my eyes. My eyes is what landed me in the ER to get the whatever shot they have to give you in the butt. Oh.
What in the butt?
I don't know what the name of the shot is, but they have to like put it in your butt cheek. I don't know why.
Because it's more fun for them that way.
Probably.
There's no reason
Probably
that couldn't be in your shoulder.
Shame.
Go ahead and drop them.
All the nurses that watch the show are probably laughing and be like, oh yeah, they could have did it here or there.
They told you had... No, you totally did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll just say that is no fun. And rubbing alcohol makes things much, much worse. Don't do that.
Really, the stupid stuff with Chad's segment here needs a sponsor. You're like brought to you by Allstate or some sort of insurance company or something like that. Seriously,
it would be nice.
You guys haven't done a stupid thing with Chad in a while, though. So
I know.
Nah, we've been slacking.
I know.
Now that we're famous, we don't need to abide by any man's rules. We are our own people or something. Anyways, this entire mess was brought to you by Watch Communications. Thank you so much for hosting this podcast, and I can't thank you enough for sticking it out for a year with us. But if you do need web hosting, they can hook you up with that, and if you use the code WASTEOFTIME, all lowercase, that will get you 1 entire month of free web hosting for whatever you want to put out there in the winterwebs. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty obvious. You can put out whatever you want because we're here.
Look at us.
So if you have an idea, throw it out there. Somebody will listen. Maybe it'll be us.
FBISurveillancevans.com.
Oh, we're on all sorts of lists.
Yeah.
Also want to do a big shout out to utv-doors.com. If you need doors for Wolverines or
Vikings,
or do you have any other CF Motos? If you're looking for any of the CF Moto Z-Force line.
I believe he has them for the old school, the Mavericks, and I believe he's working on a set for the X3s.
And I'm telling you, these are the best doors you can buy, especially for the money. They are coming from Russia, $600 shipped.
Yeah.
That is stupid cheap, and they are unbelievably nice doors.
Yeah.
So if you need doors, check them out. He's got some other products on there as well. Just go to utv-doors.com. Get the hookup there. Also, if you are a Viking or Wolverine owner and you're looking for a sense
of X3 now, because they have one of those now over there,
and you're looking for a sense of community, organized rides where you can ask questions, bash other people. No, we don't bash people there. It's actually very
pictures
nice.
Of what people are grilling on their massive grills.
Oh, if you like food pictures, yeah, you need to head over to TGM Off-Road. We've got links in the show, but just go on Facebook and look up TGM Off-Road. It stands for The Green Machine.
Yeah.
Great group of guys there.
Call sign.
Yeah. And Rob, the owner of that whole deal, his dog drinks beer. It's funny watching the videos.
Yes, those are awesome videos.
Did you see that fish on Facebook that's drinking the
drinking beer? Yes. We're off track. Back to the sponsors.
We've also got UTV Engineering, CW Motorsports, who we just can't thank enough. They're letting Chad have used the pink buggy and have been a steadfast supporter, and they are bringing you the 2019 segment. We're still calling it Race a Razor because we haven't gotten good ideas from you yet, so you guys need to...
We've gotten some ideas.
Got to step up your name game there.
Steve gave us a couple.
Yeah, Steve gave us some lousy ones. So y'all need to step up your name game. Who else am I forgetting? Spangs Fab and Harrison Power Sports up there in Harrison, Michigan. You can find us on the web at eminentperformance.com, on Facebook /Eminent Racing, on Instagram at Eminent Racing. You can find the video version of this mess on our YouTube channel. Just look for Eminent Performance. And you can find the audio version on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. And please, wherever you partake of this mess, we would ask that you take a couple seconds and leave a review. Thumbs up, a like, whatever the platform you're on does.
Yeah.
Because that just helps us grow, and we really, really greatly appreciate that. And I know I've signed off with this before or something similar, but I got to do it again.
What is it?
No matter what you've rubbed on your man junk. Thanks for riding along with us.
Thanks, guys.
Tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.
Now, hold on. We're going to keep it extended.
Oh.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to try this. Devin's active on Facebook. I want to see if it works.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we'll put that in as a blooper thing at the end.
We're being conferenced.
If he even answers.
Holy cow. He's not going to answer.
He's going to be like, what is this?
I can't even see it. I don't even know what it's doing.
And I apologize about the terrible webcam angle. My new laptop. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Look at that.
Holy freaking
That's
crap.
Awesome.
Oh, look at this. I
got to get us out of the way here. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, you're at the end of a podcast.
You're at the
now.
end of Eminent Waste of Time, episode 55.
I'm at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, the part nobody listens to.
Thanks. I appreciate you thinking about me.
Tired of screwing up, tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.
recording him. In theory, this is all good.
Okay, we ready for the clacky bit? We all have to be quiet.
Oh.